He blocked the door with his arm. I could smell the turkey, hear the laughter, clinking glasses, Mariah Carey in the background. But all I saw was him, my son, standing between me and the family table, with that look I used to reserve for strangers asking for favors. "You're not our family anymore," he said. Behind him, his wife laughed. Not loud, not obvious, just a soft, smug curl of her lip. Enough. Enough to confirm what I already knew. I didn't speak, just nodded. Then I turned around, got in my car, shut the door, dialed one number. The line rang once. "Go ahead," I said. 5 minutes later, the guests stood up from the table and left. Not one glance back, not one word, just the scrape of chairs, the sound of doors opening, coats sliding on, then silence. A silence they didn't expect, a silence they earned. I met her at a fundraiser 8 years ago, his wife, Eliza. She was charming, polished, the kind who made eye contact too long and smiled too little. My son introduced her like a trophy he hadn't yet unwrapped. I knew the type. I used to audit people like her for a living, corporate sharks wrapped in silk. I smiled, shook her hand, and said nothing. But I watched. She latched onto my son's insecurities like vines on stone. He'd always been desperate to prove he wasn't living in my shadow. She turned that into her leverage, fed his ego, starved his backbone. Slowly, I stopped being consulted, then stopped being invited, until I was barely tolerated. Last Christmas, I caught the first real crack. They hosted dinner, their first time. The guest list looked like a corporate portfolio, investors, influencers, a local politician. I brought wine, sat quietly. Then I overheard her in the kitchen, whispering, sharp. "He brings nothing, not even conversation. He's just dead weight. My father-in-law or a fucking ghost, I swear." And my son? He didn't correct her. He laughed. That was the moment something inside me stopped hoping. This year, I was invited late, 2 days before. I knew what that meant, an obligation. I still bought gifts, wrapped carefully, labeled every tag by hand. I even brought the family photo album, thought maybe nostalgia could soften whatever calcified inside him. Instead, I got a locked door and a cold sentence. "You're not our family anymore." So I made the call, one call, to Anna, my former secretary, 30 years younger, sharper than most lawyers, loyal. Because over the last year, I had quietly shifted things. My son thought the house they lived in was under his name. It wasn't. It was held in a family trust, one I created when he married, just in case. Eliza had hinted about prenups, and I trusted her less than I trusted bad weather. Their cars? Leased through a shell company I owned. Utilities? Paid from my accounts. Even the guest list for tonight? I'd built it. Every person at that table, every smiling guest, had a favor from me, a promotion, a donation, a connection. They were there because I had asked them to be. So when Anna sent the pre-written message from my number, they understood. "Leave now, quietly, no drama. We're done here." And they obeyed. I don't know how long they stood in that silence. I imagine Eliza fuming. I imagine my son, blinking, confused, like a child who just broke something expensive and can't undo it. They called me later that night, voicemail. "Dad, what's going on? Everyone left. Eliza says, 'Look, can we talk?'" Then a second one. "You're being dramatic. This isn't how you solve things." And finally, a third. "I need to know, are we cut off?" Yes. The fallout took a week. I revoked the trust. They had 30 days to vacate the house. The leased cars were collected within 48 hours. Eliza tried to play nice, called me dad again, sent cookies. I mailed them back. I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I didn't beg for respect. I just ended the game with quiet, clinical precision. People think revenge is about anger. It's not. Anger burns fast and leaves smoke. Revenge, real revenge, is cool. Still, it waits. I waited. I gave him chances, years of them. He let someone chip away at his soul, and when it was gone, he looked at me like I was the extra piece. So I removed myself from the board. Then I took the board with me. Do I miss him? No. I miss the version of him that hugged me at graduations and cried when his mother died. But that boy's gone. What remains is a man who mistook kindness for weakness and thought blood meant forever. But respect? Respect is earned, and I owe him nothing now. Christmas looks different this year, quieter, but peaceful, because for the first time I didn't sit at a table wondering what I did wrong. I sat at my own table, knowing exactly what I did right, and I slept well.